gang, it's Princess Sarissa back, and when we last left off, this, Kelgar, just used the last of his power to dispel this illusion. And now here we are in Exdeath's true castle. Or the true form of it, at least. And, of course, we're gonna have new enemies, and the first one is the Magic Dragon. There's quite a few dragons, in this castle. Some of them we've already seen, like red and yellow dragons. But we have some new ones here. The first here is the Magic Dragon. And eventually we're going to run into a Blue Dragon as well. They're really tough. But the good thing about some of these dragons is they give a lot of ability points. So we'll be getting a lot of job abilities and skills and stuff here. So I guess you gotta look on the bright side of things, minions. So, Magic Dragons are weak to bio, so if you have somebody equipped with a Poison Rod, that'll boost the damage of bio, and you can use it on them and take them out pretty easily. Some enemies in this area, not so easy. Or not so as easy to take out. And there's Faris gained one of those job abilities that I was just mentioning. Now, first thing, I want to go to this weird little switch over here on the left. And that opens the doorway to the thing on the right. Lena's about ready to master time job, if you notice that. She's almost at time. Just checking some of my abilities there. Chemist, Ferris is one level away from Max and Chemist. And we have another treasure chest here, but first we have another new enemy, the Wall Mage. And as the name implies, they have the wall spell already put on them, so we're not going to be able to deal damage to them with our magic spells. Some ways we can get around this: we can mix dark matter and dark matter to cast the shadow flare. That takes care of them. If there's another enemy around, you can control that enemy and have them attack the wall mage. If there's no other enemies, you can control the wall mage, and one of the things that the wall mage can do is cast reflect. So you have the wall mage cast reflect on someone in your party, and then you can start bouncing magic back from your party onto the wall mage. Because, like I said in the previous episode, reflect only works like it bounces back once, so it bounces off of you, and then it doesn't bounce off his wall. Otherwise you'd have an endless bouncing back of spells. So we just had another battle there. I just healed up on the outside. Plus, Lena mastered the Time Mage job. So I changed her into a Beastmaster. And now I need someone else to be a Time Mage. So I made Whiskers the Time Mage. So, you gotta keep at that 4-job Fiesta rules that we have to have each person in the job of one of those different jobs. So, can't have 2 Time Mages or 2 Beastmasters. So, changing the jobs up. Let Lana work on her Beastmaster there. Anyway, we have another new enemy, the Dark Wizard. They're a little bit easier than the Wall Mage because they do not come built in with the Reflect spell. So those ones you can just cast your regular magic spells on them. One of the things you can see that they have, you can win the Power Staff from them. It's a pretty neat staff. It doesn't do any damage, but when you hit somebody with it, it has a chance to give them the Berserk status. Berserk status means that the enemy will just only attack and will ignore its normal script, so it'll just straight attack. This can be used on some tougher enemies, some super bosses, one super boss in particular, to avoid some of his major magic and special ability attacks, so he just attacks, makes him a little bit easier. It can also be used for a trick on the final boss, actually, of the game. As you can see what I just did there earlier, I used the Wall Mage to cast Reflect on Whiskers, and then now the Wall Mage is bouncing his own magic spell off of Whiskers to deal damage to him. The only thing you gotta worry about, though, is unfortunately timing. I messed up the timing here a little bit, but Reflect can wear off on your characters. Yeah, that's one of the bad things about Reflect spells. It can wear off, the spell can eventually wear off on you. He must have like a Reflect Wing or something that gives him the auto status. We can win Reflect Wings later or buy them, and that gives you the permanent Reflect status, so it'll never wear off. And unfortunately, there was a bad mistake that I just made there. You can actually, if a weapon has a magical property associated with it, it will bounce off the reflex. But even though it's a physical attack, so like you can, if you had like the mute knife, the Mage Master, you can attack and bounce the mute portion of the Mage Master off the reflect. So just something to look out for. Got a little ether there. And now things are getting heating up, literally, minions, because the floor is now lava. And I'm not talking about that game show. But no, the floor here is lava. Every time you take a step in the lava, you lose 50 hit points. If you had a geomancer, you can, they do not take damage from damaged floors. That's one of the nice sub-abilities of a geomancer. But we can't use that class in this party because, once again, the 4-job Fiesta rules say we can only use the classes that we've been assigned. So we're just going to have to suck up that damage, but it's a good thing that before we came here, we maxed out our high potions, 99 high potions, so they restore 500 hit points, so every one of them is like 10 steps. We have another new enemy, the Bando Coil, weak against fire. You may want to take them out really quickly, given a fire rod to one of your characters, and then have that character cast the fire 3, because these guys, like many future iterations of the Bando Coil enemies, and the ones in Final Fantasy IV, after they get down to a certain amount of hit points, they start using the Blaster spell, and that could paralyze you, or could sometimes actually KO your character. Not very good to, suffer, so yeah, I want to try to get rid of them as quick as you can. Thankfully, they have that elemental weakness to fire, and we can boost our fire spells with the fire rod. And here's another new enemy, the Adinite Golem. Much later on in this castle, we're gonna fight a sort of a mini boss, an optional boss, and that's where we're gonna use those. A long time ago, we captured those 2 Ironbacks, because they do massive damage when released. And this mini boss that we're going to fight, he unfortunately has an auto reflect on him, so we're not going to be able to hit him with spells. So we want to have some tough monsters that deal a lot of damage. So if you, for some reason, lost those, you have cat controllers or Beastmasters, and you lost control, you lost those iron backs, or you never caught them, the Adinite Golems are also a decent substitute for them, because when they're captured and released, they use the strong attack. So, yeah, they're a good substitute. So if you don't have iron backs, grab a few Adamantite Golems. Yep, that's the stuff I think that Wolverine is made out of. So here we're just gonna use that old, the old standby trick of having the Wall Mage cast Wall on one of our characters, and then we can bounce some magic off of us. And we'll have Lena, why not? And capture that Adamantite Golem. Right now, Whiskers and Krill are the 2 that have the catch, that have the Ironbacks caught. So, unfortunately, not everybody has the Beastmaster job master. Only Whiskers does. So, only Whiskers can release a thing from another job. So, because that's their final ability, catch. So, yeah, when we fight this final boss, we'll have Whiskers be the Whiskers release his Ironback, and we'll have Krill be the Beastmaster, so she can release hers. Yeah, in order to release, you have to master the Beastmaster class. That's the final ability that you learn from them, so. Although it would be nice, like, if we had at least somebody else to master the Beastmaster class, because, then we could release the 2 Ironbacks, that Iron Golem, and make the mini-boss much easier, but don't worry, minions, we have a way to deal with it. And here's an interesting, silly little room. When you step on this skull, it makes this bridge appear. And for some reason, I got really, really lucky. And you have to press the A button, and that stops the bridge. And you want to stop it in front of the 2 treasure chests, or in front of the big pit to get across. If you don't stop it, stop it on a wall, what happens is you get into a fight, and we'll see that later, but let's just talk about this fight here, the Iron Fists. Luckily, these guys are weak to fire, ice, and lightning, so any elemental 3 spell should take them out. You want to take them out quick, because otherwise they charge up an attack, and they hit you for massive damage. It pretty much is a guaranteed 1-hit KO. Here we have the Icebrand sword. It's the Knight sword. And we ran into some dragons there, so we want to heal ourselves up. And I got really lucky here because I managed to stop it both times without messing up. But then, of course, when I have to get the 3-tile wide one, I, of course, mess up, and look what happens. We get into a battle. And we get into a battle with our good friend, the Jackanopes. But thankfully, at least they dumbed him down a little bit in Exdeath Castle. They took away all his magic resistance. So, unlike the one in the Warris Castle basement, this one we actually can damage with magic spells. So, yeah, once you're able to damage with magic, much, much easier. Because, like I said, he only has 666 hit points. So, yeah, he gets much easier. So, and here we have another new dragon. I mentioned him earlier. This guy is really tough because you want to take him out as quick as you can. He has a lot of hit points, 6,900 hit points. It's going to take probably about like 3 level 3 spells to take him out. The problem with him is he has several multi-targeting attacks. He has a blaze attack, which deals damage to everybody. He also has a frost attack, which I think takes off 1/4 of everyone's hit points. Or maybe the blaze does that. But either way, he has 2 of these devastating multi-targeting attacks that can really hurt you. In addition to his powerful physical attacks, he has a powerful physical attack, and he can also do a critical hit. Yeah, he's big trouble. So, yeah, we want to just, if you run into him, make sure you take him out first. So, Red Dragon, not so much of a problem, because he has that weakness to ice. So you can take him out with, 2 ice spells. An Ice 3 and an Ice 2 is easy enough to take him out. So, there's that critical attack. The Blue Dragon also has that critical attack, so it's just a little bit stronger than your normal, regular, run-of-the-mill attack. But anyway, when you're fighting dragons, it's a tough one. But at least you get a lot of ability points from them, so. And thankfully, the game is nice, and they give us several save points in this dungeon. We had the one on the 1st floor. Now we have one here on the 7th floor. And we're going to get to another one then on the 10th floor. You might think, wow, only 3 floors between save points? Well, problem with these 3 floors is going to be filled with lava. And that means a lot of damage. And unfortunately, like in Final Fantasy 1 and Final Fantasy 2 that I played earlier, in this game, damage tiles do not prevent you from getting into random encounters. Which is kind of, an evil move. Because, before it's like when you were in Final Fantasy 1 or 2, you can just keep walking and walking, and it doesn't matter if you're down to 1 hit point, because then after that, you won't take any more damage. It doesn't matter, you're at 1 hit point, keep walking and walking, because you're not going to get into a random encounter to, knock out your characters or wipe out your party. And so then when as soon as you step out of right before you step out of the damage tiles, you just heal yourself up there. Saves on healing. Not the case in this one anymore, because you can run into random encounters while you're in damage tiles, which means that, unfortunately, you're going to want to potentially heal yourself after walking through the damage tiles for a little bit. Otherwise, you run the chance of getting into an encounter that, wipes you out. And, I'm actually speaking from experience, minions. There was you notice there was that little, squiggly, pixelation there between when I saved and when I restarted. That's because, when I was recording, the first time I went through, I actually got KO'd. I got ambushed by, I think, a blue dragon, and he cast a blizzard spell on me and knocked me out. So, yeah, so I had to restart at my save point. So, always save your game when you have the opportunity, minions. And heal up after maybe every 10 steps or so. Yes, a good option, but after every 10 steps, that'll be enough to use a high potion and max yourself back up to the full hit points. Here we have another interesting room. There's that little Esper thingy over there on the left. We're going to get to him first, but we want to go down to the south here. But the problem is, before we, when you step on the tile to go to the south, the floor disappears. See, we step on the skull, and boom, the bridge disappears. And there's quite a few tiles here that are fake pits. If you have a geomancer, you can see those pits, but we don't have that geomancer. So, unfortunately, if you step on one of these false tiles, you fall down into the floor below. Like this. Whee! Plunk, right into the lava. Yep. So, I misread my map that has the little, that shows the tiles that are bad, so, and that was bad skill on my part, minions. But, if you will just follow along, the way I walk here now, you'll be okay. So we're gonna step on this little tile here, and we want to kind of stick to the edge, so let's heal ourselves up. Want to stay near the edge, and then we can just walk all the way straight across on this line until we get to this point here, and then we can head up and stay along the edge, and then we're going to touch this skull, and it warps us over to this little Esper guy right over here. And, yep, he's the next guy we are going to fight. So we're just going to change up our abilities a little bit here. Like I said, we want to give Whiskers the catch ability because he has that caught iron back. We want to change Krill here. We want to change her to the Beastmaster because she has the she has that other iron back equipped. So we can just change up Lena to the Black Mage because now Krill is going to be our Beastmaster because she also has a second iron back caught. So we'll give her time. I should have gave Lena the should have gave her the mixed ability. You'll see why in a little bit. But okay, now we can just equip her with the good Black Mage stuff. That frees up some different equipment for Krill the Beastmaster. And now we can get ready to fight this guy here. And this is Carbuncle. He says if we can beat him, he will join us. Carbuncle, his stats will be popping up here in a little. He has 1,500 hit points. So when he gets down to about 5,000 hit points, what happens is he'll start changing up his attacks. Right now, he's just going to bounce off elemental type spells off of himself, which ain't too much of a problem. But when he gets down to that like 5,000 hit point range, then he's going to start casting like instant death type spells. So basically, we drop off these two iron things, and that takes him down to about 4,000 hit points. Now that's under the 5,000 hit point threshold, so he's going to start using his instant death spells like Exile. He has Death, and then he also has a Stone spell. So this is where if we had a third Beastmaster, could release that like Iron Golem or the Adamant Golem, that would, probably finish him off, but we unfortunately don't. So two things we can do right now with our party, since we don't really have physical characters, is we can just haste up whoever our Chemist is and have them mix Shadow Flares. Also, it's a little more risky because the damage is not consistent, but the time magic spell Comet, that bypasses the reflect status, so we could theoretically use the Comet spell to also damage him. So after about like 3 Shadow Flares mixes or 2 Shadow Flares and maybe 2 Comets, we should be able to take him down, finish off that final 4,000 hit points. So, now we're just gonna heal ourselves up here. We got our second Esper Carbuncle. And we pop up down here, we step on this magic tile, and it warps us over here, unfortunately, to a place where we have to walk into more lava. Man, the floor is lava, and we're not even getting any prize. Now, we step here, and it eliminates the bridge. To make the bridge appear, we're going to have to touch the skull opposite of the one that transported us to Carbuncle. And, of course, that means going through a bunch of damaged tiles, and, or potential tiles that can drop us into the pits. But we're going to stick to the edge. That's the key, minions. Stick to the edge, and we'll eventually get to that skull safely, and then we'll flip that skull switch, and that allows us to create the bridge to go back to the south here, which leads us to the save point on level 10, which is where we'll save our game, heal up, and I'll pick up next time, minions. Take care. Thanks for following. Have a good day, and thanks to everyone who wished my daddy well on the passing of Prin Prin. I appreciate it. Bye.